June 14th, 2020. A headline spread across the country. A young actor gone. But how does something like this happen without warning? News broke quickly, and with it came confusion. Were we seeing the full picture, or just the beginning of a much bigger story? He was known for talent, dedication, and a journey that inspired many. From television to the big screen, he built his place step by step. What makes someone rise so fast, and what pressures come with that rise? To the public, everything looked promising. But does success always reflect reality? Or can there be more beneath the surface? In the days leading up to the incident, details later became part of intense discussion. Timelines were analyzed, movements were tracked. Why do the final hours matter so much in cases like this? Because sometimes answers lie in the smallest gaps. What could have happened in those unseen moments? Early reports suggested one version of events, but as more information emerged, questions followed. Why did different reports seem to tell different stories? And when narratives change, trust becomes fragile. So, which version do people believe, and why? The response was immediate, emotional, widespread. People across the country reacted. Why did this case connect with so many people so deeply? Because sometimes a story becomes bigger than the event itself. Was this just about one incident, or something larger people were feeling? A sudden loss, a wave of questions, and a story just beginning. So what really happened behind the headlines? What began as a report quickly turned into an investigation. Authorities began examining details, but here's the key question. How do you separate fact from assumption in the early stages? Different aspects were explored, statements, records, timelines. When there are multiple angles, how do investigators decide which path matters most? As the case progressed, certain gaps were discussed. Do gaps always mean something is hidden, or can they simply be incomplete information? Uncertainty grew, and when uncertainty grows, does clarity become easier or harder to find? The case moved into public space. Debates increased. But when everyone has an opinion, how do we identify what's actually verified? Expectations rose. People wanted answers. Does pressure help speed up the truth or risk complicating it further? As new developments appeared, attention shifted. Why does focus change in evolving investigations? Because every new detail can change the direction completely. So what detail matters the most? More information, more questions, still no certainty. In a case like this, what truly defines the truth? What began as a single investigation soon became something much larger. Multiple agencies stepped in, each with its own mandate, its own process, its own interpretation of events, and with every new development, the case grew more complex. But here's the question. Why were there different interpretations of the same events? The incident took place in Mumbai, but soon, a separate complaint was filed elsewhere. This introduced a new layer: jurisdiction. Which authority should lead? And does that choice affect the outcome? Legal discussions intensified, because now this wasn't just about facts, it was about process. As public attention grew, the case was transferred to central authorities. Investigators began reviewing statements, digital records, financial details. Every detail was examined, re-examined. If you were investigating this, which detail would you focus on first? Forensic science became critical. Reports were studied carefully. Expert opinions were considered, because in the absence of eyewitness clarity, science often becomes the strongest voice. But what happens when interpretations of evidence differ? Can the same data lead to different conclusions? As investigations progressed, the legal system moved alongside. Petitions were filed, arguments were presented, courts reviewed procedures, ensuring due process was followed. Is the system designed to find the truth quickly, or to ensure it is found correctly? At the same time, media coverage intensified, round-the-clock reporting, panel discussions, breaking updates, every hour. The case was no longer confined to investigators. It had entered living rooms. But when information spreads this fast, how do we separate facts from assumptions? Not all information is equal. Facts, opinions, assumptions. In this case, they often blended together. So how do we know what to trust, and who decides what becomes the truth? Public opinion grew stronger. Social media campaigns emerged. Voices demanded clarity, accountability, justice. But does public pressure help uncover truth? Or can it sometimes shape it? This case raised an important question. What is responsible reporting? Where is the line between informing the public and influencing perception? Because once a narrative takes hold, it can be difficult to change. Amid investigations and debates, there were real people involved. Families, friends, colleagues, lives affected beyond headlines. In the middle of all this, are we remembering the human side of the story? At its core, the investigation aimed for one thing: clarity, not speculation, not assumption, but evidence-based understanding. What matters more, speed or accuracy? Because in the end, truth is not decided by volume. It is built on proof. Few cases in India have been followed this closely. Every update analyzed, debated, shared. With so many voices involved, does clarity become easier or harder to find? And yet, despite all the attention, uncertainty remained. Multiple investigations, legal scrutiny, endless discussion, and still, one question remained. In a case surrounded by noise, how do we find the truth? Time moved forward, but the discussions didn't stop. Why do some cases stay in public memory longer than others? The case influenced conversations about media, about mental health, about systems. Can one case change how a society thinks? Media played a major role. Information spread rapidly, whereas the line between awareness and influence. Every case leaves something behind. Questions, reflections. What should we learn from stories like this? Because learning is what prevents repetition. Are we paying attention to those lessons? Beyond headlines, there are real lives, families, memories. In the search for answers, are we remembering the people involved? Not every question finds an answer, and not every story ends clearly. Is it harder to accept the truth or the absence of it? Some stories close, some continue, and some leave us with questions that never fade. Because sometimes the mystery isn't just in what happened, but in what we may never fully understand. Which question stayed with you the most after watching?